Hey guys, welcome to the Lowry Writes show, podcast, live talk show, YouTube channel, Twitch channel, whatever. I'm just glad you're here. Today, I want to talk about websites. And this came up in the writing group this week. And I have been really focused in on my own website for the past 3 weeks. And so this is a very current topic for me. And if you're just joining me here at Jen Lowry Writes, I want you to know that that's pretty much how I run things here. It's based on my own life experiences, through emails, through my listeners and viewers like you who are requesting topics, work with my Patreon community, my WWJs. So just to let you guys know that I'm all about sharing my author journey as I go, talking about things that I've done that I wish I would have done, the mistakes I've made, because I'm not perfect and never claim to be, but I'm learning and I'm growing every day, not only as an author with my writing, but I'm also growing with this understanding about author platforms more and more. And so that's why I want to share it out with all of you. And I would love for you to join in on the discussion about websites. So regardless of where you are in your author career or in your creative artist career, so I'm talking about all creatives. If you feel like you need to wait to get a website, I hope that you will prayerfully consider changing that mindset that you have today and understand that it is important that you go ahead and build your platform today, like right now. Like we can do this working session together because here, I always start off by talking with you and sharing my screen and, going over the things that I feel that could be valuable for you to, engage in your own space. But then we have this working time together where I want to challenge you to really investigate the websites for yourself. So if you're coming to me and saying, well, I only need one website, give it to me now, make my life easier. Not going to do that. I will tell you what I chose. I will show you the different websites that I use and for what purpose. So I hope I don't confuse anybody with my kind of triangle brain, but that's what it's looking like right now. And the more I think about what I've used. And then I want to encourage you to research. And so, I live by these 4 principles in my author world, and that is to research, to connect, to contact, and then to have the courage to continue to walk it out. Because just because you research something doesn't mean you're actually going to follow through. And so that last C, that last courage step, that's the one that I'm really praying that you will embrace today when we're talking about websites. But you do need to research. So where do you even start? Well, first, you go to websites of authors or creative artists or illustrators or gamers or, whatever it is that you like to follow and that you are building your business around and your content around, and kind of start looking at the way that they professionally set up their websites. That is a key component of the research. You really need to find models. I would highly suggest that you do that. You can pull up a Google Doc. You could pull it up right now while we're talking, and you could start doing top websites I love. That's what you could call it. And then you could start going out and researching people's websites and seeing what it is that they have on their sites, because they're already out there as maybe a huge influencer, or they're already out there, doing their thing. And I'm not saying copy their thing. I'm saying see what patterns start to emerge within your specific genre, because everybody knows full well that genres are specific, niches are specific. And so what is it about that thing that you're trying to accomplish? Now, there is no way that if you would go to any of my sites, if you would go to the Jen Lowry Writes platform all over the place, you're not going to see makeup tutorials on my website or fashion design or interior design. You know, that's just not me. That's not my that's not who I am. And so you're going to see, I'm blessed that you're here. You're going to see content specific related, teaching materials, tutorials. You're going to see not only for reader engagement, but you're going to see how I connect with the writing community, because that's really a big audience for me. Other writers are kind of my people. And writers are readers too. So I'm still having readership in there and engagement that way. But you'll see a lot of what I do out there to support my writing community that I have fostered and built over the past 2 years. So I've also looked at writers that I love, that I respect in the industry, that are very well known, because if I look at those influencers, I don't want to be like mimicking them and being exactly like them. But if I notice across 4 of them that they have pop-ups, well, maybe that's pretty much what professionals have, is a pop-up. Why haven't I had that in the past? So I went in and created a pop-up, just got that widget on my website. So easy to do. I just had never done it before. And it was because I was not aware. And so research is critical because it brings awareness, and it can help you shape your work so that it matches within the genre or the expectation of a website. So if you really don't know what a website is supposed to look like, example for inspirational authors, right? So where am I going to go? What's the names of the people that are going to stand out to me? Of course, it's going to be like the leader of Proverbs 31, or it's going to be, it's going to be that Proverbs 31 site, or it's going to be Karen Kingsbury's site. I'm going to look for the top names in the industry in which I'm a part of, and then I'm going to investigate their sites. And then I'm just going to look up at authors I love. And it's fun. So I would suggest that you create a Google Doc, take notes, or you can create a Google sheet. Now, I created a Google sheet when I was evaluating books within my genre, but you could do the same thing. I always like to give you guys options of ways that you can note take. If you do a Google sheet, you could talk about, different pages that they have on their websites, what's included on their websites, and you can start breaking it down. That can help you with the pattern work if you need the notebook layout, if you need that. Or you can just, open up 4 tabs at once if you don't have a problem with multiple tabs. Open up 4 tabs at once, and then you're able to just go from one screen to the next of like your top 4 influencers, your top 4 creative artists that you follow, whether it's in entertainment, whether it's authors, illustrators, artists, whatever it is. Pick these top people in your world, because then you're researching something that matters to you. And I guarantee you that the things that matter to you, whatever it was that drew you to that person, your readers are people like you. They're probably more like you than different. Let's just say that. Okay, so that is a really great strategy for you to go out and find comparable websites within your genre. And so the first thing is identifying your genre, identifying your target audience, so that your creative elements that you bring to your website match the reader expectation. I think that is extremely important. So right now I don't have any thrillers. I don't have anything that is, except, I have some horror, but majority of my work is, sweet, clean romance, and, that's kind of that purple color for the book covers that I have. I tried my best to look at my brand. And so if you follow my page, there is this consistency there, and it just kind of flows out from that landing page. And so let's even just talk about the landing page for a minute. Why do you think it's important for authors to even have a website? That's the first question you need to ask yourself. Why? Because if you can't identify this why, that could stop you from having a creative landing page for someone. And so I want to share my screen. Now, I have not pre-planned, I don't pre-plan anything. It's just us talking here. Don't joke the tabs. Okay. So why do you want a website to start with? So if you type in Jen Lowry Writes, okay, that's my name, you're going to see what comes up. Where do I live? Okay, you want to be present on Google. You want people to be able to find you. So when I started thinking about the website for my author brand, I needed to make sure that people would be able to easily remember whatever it is. It needs to be, something that is completely not complex and out of the way and extremely long, but it needs to have possibly the name of, your pen name, whatever it is that you're going to be called out there in your creative space. But you need to be able to match all of your places around this, because the more you do that, when you go to Google, the more of you that's going to show up there. Okay, it's not just going to be I can't do J Lowry and I show up, but it needs to be this Jen Lowry Writes, because that is like my umbrella name that I use for everything, starting with the Google account. And that's what I started with. I created my own Gmail account for my author world separate. And so if you're asking me, what's the first step in identifying how to do a website? I'm saying you need to go get your email address that is going to be connected to that website so you can verify the website. I mean, it's going to email you and say to verify this account. You don't want your personal stuff mixed up in with this. And so my personal email is separate from my author world, which I am so grateful for, because my personal email is for my business, inquiries. It's for, things that I deal with university, things that I deal with, junk mail. I'll put things in there, bills, personal things, right, that I give out to family and friends. But when it comes to my author world, I have my Jen Lowry Writes email, because everything is called that. And that was one of the greatest things I think that I did at the very early stages. As soon as I signed my author contract with my publisher, and they sent me this email saying, here's your checkoff list. Here's all the things you need to check off. Here's all the accounts you need to have. What's your name? Build your accounts based on that name. It all clicked for me, and it all made sense of how to brand myself. And so, of course, you see that my website is going to come up first. And so my pop-up lets people know right away that I'm thankful for their presence being here. Great, thank you for being at my official author website. You can subscribe. And if you subscribe, that means you'll get my monthly newsletter. And then as soon as you click in, that's when you can subscribe. So it's not that usual pop-up that you see, subscribe now. It's just a welcome. I would still like you to subscribe to my page so that way I can have a personal email list, and we can talk about the benefits of having a personal email list too. So I'm moving back and forth between the chat and the actual website because I wanted to make sure if you guys have any particular questions. But when I first started, I knew I needed to get a domain name. And so I started searching around for domain prices. Guys, you really need to look at these plans, and you need to read the bottom line, because once you start with that domain name, you can always transfer it to different accounts, okay? But for me, I already had a GoDaddy account. So I went, oh, I'm just going to continue with GoDaddy. And that's where I got my domain name. And that's where I have my website and marketing. And now I have e-commerce. So I actually have built my website over time. I started with the basic plan, and now I'm in more of a full business plan. But before I had this Jen Lowry Writes here, I was actually using a free WordPress site, and I did not have a brand. I used that's when I was doing just my devotionals, and it was only Everyday Mom Challenge. And so I had a blog that was an existing blog that had a lot of subscribers there, and I didn't want to lose that free place. So even though that was growing for a long time, I will say maybe 2014, maybe. That blog is now tied into this website. So when people find me, you take your RSS feed of your blog, and then it'll pull them to that. So I'm using GoDaddy, but I'm not saying that you go out and this is the only place, because there are multiple platforms that you can actually buy domains and where you can actually host your site with. And so I want to share some of them with you today, so that way you can go out and research for yourself. So a lot of my author friends, they're using WordPress. So if you have a website and you want to make recommendations, you can put comments in the chat of what you used. That way, when other readers and viewers and creative artists get on this video, they can also see other ones too, because there might be something that I'm totally not going to bring up today. But this is my GoDaddy one. So I found it to be extremely user-friendly. I had always had this one, and I'm like, okay, I'm sticking with it. And as you can see, if you were on this website like a month ago, if you've been following me for a while, you're going to say, wait, Jen, this really looks a lot different. And it's because within my Patreon group, we did a website critique of each other's work. And we really looked at it with critical eyes. And I brushed up a lot, cleaned up, swept out, moved around, and fixed this website. And so that lets you know that as long as you have that initial landing page to begin with, that doesn't mean that you can't slowly build on that and work that page and change it up and continue to research sites. Because once you get the page, it's not set in stone. I mean, like the name of mine is set in stone because I bought that domain. I'm not changing that for anything. What I'm saying is I went through and just made sure that my free resources were here, so the families that want these educator guides know that it's here. Before, I had it like way down in the about. Had tons of about. I didn't have personalized pictures when it was my page about me. So I went in and fixed that. My books were not organized at all. You couldn't even find my Q&A. But I have mine target population specific. So that way, if you want to read middle grades, these are my middle grade selections on the slide. You know, if you like young adults, here are my young adult collection, my work there. Here's my sweet romance for adults. So if anybody wants, you know, that from my collection, they can go there. And then I've got down at the bottom, I have my devotionals and my poetry book. And so I have these kind of like down here as a grouping. So I love the way that this was suggested to me, because it's easier now to find the different target population specifics on my page. Before, I just had a jumbled up mess, y'all. It was like, how in the world would anybody really know what is what and where is the most appropriate place? And because my brand is Clean Books for All Ages, I write across the spectrum. That's where I find joy. Now, yes, I love living middle grade. if you follow me, you know that I have really found a great place for me this summer to work in. And that's my middle grade horror comedy. That's what I'm working on with the writing sprints. I have my middle grade fantasy that I'm going to move into after I finish my edits of Bad to the Bone. But that doesn't mean that I'm locked in. I'm working on ideas right now in my head that won't leave me alone about cults and serial killers. So that's going to be some adult work that's going to be in there. So when you land on my page, though, it's a lot more organized than it used to be. And the reason why I'm telling you guys this is just for you not to get discouraged, for you just to go out and build your stuff. And even if it's like junky, like what mine was at the beginning, you've got room to grow. Start building your stuff, though. And now I can stand behind my website a lot better. Like I feel better about my website. So I'm putting it out there a lot more now. Like before, I would say jenlowrywrites.com, you can find me there. But now I'm tagging that website a lot more because I feel more comfortable about the product. And so, yes, it can take some time. And it does take a little bit of money at the beginning to actually buy your website domain name. But you need to search your plans. I'm going to go to the WordPress site. And I want to show you guys my home. So my card is awaiting payment because I've never hit the plus to go up for a plan. But this one is my WordPress. And so if you use the free site, you see where it says wordpress.com, you can still get close to your domain name, which I would highly suggest that you do. You could start with WordPress blog for free. Then you could build a website for free. You will just have this part right here. But you need to go and look at the plans because they are super affordable on WordPress. And I have a lot of author friends that stand by WordPress and really love it. But because I had that GoDaddy experience and I just went right there, I navigated to my comfort zone. And that's why I'm telling you, you can, go to what works for you. I'm going to give you these different names and I'm going to show you kind of like the layouts that I chose. And so I do Sunday Spotlight here where people can come on and be featured on my blog, like for a blog tour. And you can see that I have quite a few people following this blog, so I did not want to lose it. But I also have a place here, so it's kind of set up, just like what a typical website looks like with my headers. I have a running blog where I do book reviews. So I just finished reading Things a Lot. So I love that book. 5 stars from me. And so this is my place where I can talk books. And here's my Sunday Spotlight, my friend Allison Hendricks. And then you can keep going down and you can look at the archives and see all the way back. And you can tag all of these different things, find me. And you can get all the different widgets to where you can have all of the countdown pieces at the bottom to a new release. Or I've got my podcast connection here. I've got a place where if people find this site and they want to see my books, I've listed them and broken them down. Yes, I'm at my 20th book. I'm so excited. And then there's my podcast one. And people can just click right here. It's got that podcast. Listen, this is my favorite interview that I interviewed Katie Camillo. And then this is how people, if they want to be a guest on the podcast, they can contact me. But I also have my podcast stuff on my website too. And so I've got this in case people are out there reading my blog because they've already subscribed to my blog. So I've got it to where my main places where I live are there. And then, of course, you put your social media icons out there because it's a landing page. Do you want people to interact with you straight into the website, or do you want people to find you and then bounce off? So it's according to what your purpose is for your website. Like I now have this ability to add that e-commerce onto my website, which is super cool. I just haven't had the time to really build the page yet, but for the past week, I have that upgrade. So I have the e-commerce business plan now. So I know it's still a work in progress, but then people can stay there and they can purchase my books, straight off my website. They can purchase my merchandise. They can get my shirts and everything that I'm making. I got my shirt in the mail. So they can get official author merch like right there through me, and it can then bounce them to my sites too. I also build necklaces for Sweet Potato Jones. I have Bible verse necklaces on Etsy. So I'm like, how can I have a place like an e-commerce place that's not here, there, and everywhere? And so I decided, I talked with some people with GoDaddy. I talked with the customer service, which I love their customer service. And so I'm going to be using that e-commerce and figuring it out. Just got a sewing machine in the mail. Super excited to learn all of that. So I'm always looking for creative ways to stretch my brain. And I love crafts. So I'm just looking forward to what that e-commerce site can do. I'm also illustrating now, and I'm starting to dive into illustrations and working out prints for my books. So next year, you can see my work in progress with the illustration. So that's going to be on my website too. I just have to build a page for it. And it's so easy once you get your base website to always go back in. So now I need to do author/illustrator and say, ta-da, look at what I've been working on, y'all. And I can show the images of a really bad wolf. A really bad fox that just turned out really bad. And then my work in progress. And then I can show my final product of Charlie. And I'm like, this is how Charlie moved from here to here. And this is my final product. Because I love sharing that behind the scenes stuff, because that's my audience a lot. It's the tutorials and the show and the teach. So my website is going to reflect that as well. And so WordPress is one that you really need to look into. Another one is Wix. Now, Wix I have for my Monarch business page. Now, I've used Wix in the past for school. I actually have a Wix one for my club. I have the free site for my writing club. But I love the layouts of Wix. The templates are beautiful. I find that WordPress, Wix, and GoDaddy, people can say, well, there's a slight edge. This one is a lot easier to use. But because there are so many tutorials out there in the world on how to set it up, you can go through the tutorials on their website, but you can also pull up YouTube and learn tricks on how to make a stunning website with Wix. And you can watch those as you go along. You can research that stuff, and you can train yourself on how to easily navigate any of these platforms. So I want to encourage you to go and look at the plans. Like what is it about the plans that stand out for you? So you can get your custom domains at WordPress, here, GoDaddy. It's the same. It's just what are the plans like, and where are you needing to fit within that plan? What do you want to do? Do you want to have that SEO capability and the Google Analytics? Do you want to be able to remove ads? Do you want to be able to sell products? That's why coming to me and saying, just give me one, so it makes it easy for me, that's hard for me to do. What I can do is give you these options and to say, go look, go find what works for you, and look at their pricing, look at their plans. I'm going to tell you what I absolutely love and adore. And you're going to think, why do you do this? This makes no sense. Well, it makes sense to me. So that's what I'm telling you. It's like my plan, okay, with GoDaddy includes email marketing campaigns. It actually includes newsletters. And I built a newsletter with GoDaddy before, and I sent it out to my subscribers that go on there and say, yes, I want to subscribe, and they trust me with their email, and I get to send them content and freebies and giveaways of my audiobook codes. I love connecting with my audience through newsletters, but I didn't really feel for the email piece there. And I pulled it out and I said, you know what? I really like something I got in the mail from another YouTuber that I follow. She's a self-published author. Her name is Bethany Adazeta, and she sends the best newsletters. I love looking at her newsletters. They're beautiful. I love the layout. It's like content creative. And I kept saying, wow, her stuff looks really cool. But then I scrolled down to the bottom and I found Wix shout out. And I was like, okay, what's Wix shout out here? What is that? Now, this is how I learned. It's an email marketing service, because email marketing comes with websites. And that's why I wanted to share this part of Wix with you, because I have, okay, so there you go. That's what it looks like. You can watch all the tutorials here. Super easy, friendly to use. I absolutely love Wix shout out for email marketing. So I've got my business here. And so my Jen Lowry Writes email subscribers that have signed up to receive my newsletter, they are getting one of these template beauties here. And I absolutely love it. Absolutely adore it. And then you can copy them in there almost like a WordPress blog. You can hit copy of your campaigns. But looking at what your plans are for you, you can get email marketing campaigns. So that's something that you need to understand, like the different plans and how they move and grow over with what you're specifically looking for. Or you could do like me, and you can have just this mess all over the place, but have the main landing page, and then it pops people out. You might say, Jennifer, you're working way too hard. And maybe I am. However, I find it to work for me. And so I can efficiently do an email campaign with Wix. I can quickly go on to my GoDaddy website and do this and that and fix this and that really fast, just because I started there and I taught myself there. I feel more comfortable in that space. And so that's why I have the courage to just play around with my website and change things up and clean things up, because my website was super, super busy. And I think that that was a huge mistake. And I will tell you, since I went in and actually started learning about the website analytics and what my website could do for me, and actually reading the pages and looking at widgets and add-ons, I was like, oh my gosh, I should have always been doing this stuff. So I'm really excited to report the tremendous growth click rate that I have inside my website. And I took pictures last month because I wanted to celebrate it. That's something that I'm going to tell you guys to do, is to take pictures of the day you create your website, of the day that you go ahead and screenshot it, put it in your digital journal so you can see and then have that room to grow. And then you can go back and look at what your original one looked like. You can remember that exciting day when you built your first professional site and you proclaimed to the world, I'm a creative artist in this industry space, and I have the right to have a website. And so that's an empowering moment when you go out there and claim that website. It almost makes, like, I don't want to say it feels real when it's not real, because please, it's real. But it gives you a place, a new place for you to be able to engage with a possible reader. Because we know full well that people will want to look at people's websites. I mean, it's just common what people do. So to say that people won't go there, I think you're leading yourself down the wrong path because I think you need a landing page. Bottom line, I think it's imperative for authors and creative artists to have that landing page. It does not have to be as sophisticated and as beautiful as some of the ones that I have seen out there, especially for me, because I do not have any kind of digital arts background. I know what my brand color is. I know what I want my website to do. I know how I wanted my website structured after I did my critique of my website with my author friends, and we all got together on Zoom. There was like 6 of us on there, and we were pulling up every single person's website, and we were going, and I had my journal right here. I was going, okay, I really got to work on this thing. And it gave me the motivation to do it. And now I'm like, yes, thank you. But I'm going to be honest, when I first started my website, my views on my website were low. But the more that it sits there, it's not going to go away. The more that it sits there, the more that you're out there consistently building your author platform, the more views that you can get hits on in a month. Now, I'm just going to tell you guys, like for me, when I reached 3,000 views in the month and the click rate was high and I was like at 98% in the top of the author platform industry insight comparisons, I was like, oh, this is awesome. I love looking at this data because I do think it's important that as a businesswoman, I've got to look at my data each day. I've got to pay attention to the business practices, and that's including numbers. So yes, it's all feely good. I've got this website and I'm proud of it now, but I also need to see, is it doing what I need it to do? And so paying closer attention to the analytics and documenting those analytics along the way is a powerful indicator for me that what I'm doing and the way that I'm moving is in the right direction. And I just have to continue to build it. And so I've given you some different websites. I'm going to tell you WordPress, Wix, and GoDaddy are not the only ones. I'm going to give you another one. One of my author friends, she uses this one. She has a beautiful, just clean website. Like it's gorgeous. It's so appealing to the eye. It's so pleasing when you enter her website. But I'm going to show you guys another one because I had a fancy marketer person. Evan Knox was on my podcast and I interviewed him. And I was like, okay, you got to give us some tips. You got to talk to us about what can we do on a budget. Because if we don't have the money to go out there and outsource website builders, people who actually will market with you and they will perform for you. They'll build your website. They'll check your analytics. They'll check off all the boxes. You can pay people to do this work. Well, look, I'm a teacher. You guys know I teach high school. You can go online and look at the North Carolina salary range and you can see, and I'm not going to have the money to put into all of this fancy creative stuff. I've got to do things on a budget. And I'm thankful to the Lord that I have the ability to research, to connect with the writing community, ask them what they're doing, contact people specifically about what they like and don't like, and then have the courage to make my own choices. That's my 4, guys. I'm going to keep telling you this as many times as I can to get you to have that kind of mindset too. But he mentioned Squarespace. He said, I love Squarespace. And I would not have known even what Squarespace was because in my mind, I thought it was kind of like my PayPal reader because I use PayPal Business and I have one of the swipes. And I was thinking, is he talking about Square? Is he talking about, what is he talking? Is he talking about for going around to events and, plugging in that little contraption to the end of your phone? I wouldn't have known it if it wouldn't have been for my writing friend who actually has Squarespace and she showed off her beautiful website. And so I will tell you that like when you come to these websites, just come and go and look at what it says to get started. Even though I'm not going to use a Squarespace because I have mine, you can see that Wix does this same kind of thing. What's your site about? And so it's going to start kind of populating some templates that can kind of look like something that would be comparative to like what product you're going to be there trying to promote. And so you see where the email marketing is here. You can find a domain or you can transfer a domain. And that's another thing that you need to investigate. Because my friend, sweet author friend of mine, she bought her domain in one place. She transferred her domain out of that place into a website platform that she found to be most comfortable, which was Wix for her. So you see how you can do these things, and it's called that price comparison and looking to see what the bottom line is. Because if it says it's $4 for the first year, I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not saying one is, but I'm just going to throw this out there as an example. If it says it's $4 for the first year, what's the fine print? Does it go up to $30 the next year? Or does it go up to $8 the next year? So usually what will happen with these plans is that you will get a discount rate the first year of your domain, and then after that, your domain price may go up. So really research and investigate that and look for the bottom line. So the website analytics, I think, is very important now. At first, I didn't really have a good firm grasp on it, even the language of it. But that is something as a businesswoman I'm learning, and I'm continuing to learn. So look at that. If you want to do the e-commerce. So do you see how very similar all of this language is that I'm talking to you? And now we're on Squarespace looking at how beautiful their websites can be. It's just really, what is it that you want? And how much are you going to be willing, to pay for that service? And how easy is it? So go to YouTube and look for how to create stunning websites with one of these sites. See how many website, see how many YouTube videos come up and tutorials come up, because I can guarantee that you guys will have the support that you need with a lot of these big named places. I even did one on WordPress. So one of my friends, I love her dearly. She has a fabulous writing way. Just love her voice. Absolutely just calls to my heart with her sweet slang. And she was making these excellent posts on Facebook. She has a huge following on Facebook. And I was like, you know what? I private messaged her and I said, I'd love for you to have a blog because your writing is stellar. And I know that one day you want to be an author, right? And she messaged me back. How did you know? I'm working on a book right now. I'm working on a memoir. How did you know that? I'm like, I just know you have that writer in you. You really need a website. And I really think that on this website, you need to start blogging. You need to take the things that you're already doing on your Facebook and you need to place them in here with an image, with tags. You need to do the featured image. You need to do categories and keywords, and you need to be out there, and you need to have your website, and you need to be blogging. And so once she started, she was like, wait, I've got my domain. I bought my domain. She actually bought multiple domains. People can do that too because you want the .co and the .com and the .this and the .that. I just went JenLineRuts.com. But she bought multiple domains and she set everything up. And then she was running in through some snags on how to set out layouts, just how to choose the layouts. What's the best one for me? What do I need to do? And so I actually made a tutorial and showed this is what it would look like if you click this layout. And this is what it looks like so you can play around with layouts. And it gave her the freedom to be able to creatively play. And that's what I want you to do when it's about website talking. I want you to feel this freedom, not a burden, this creative element that's already in you because you're an author, a creative artist. Let it show up on the page. Yet know that you can always hit new template You can always change your pages. You can always update your content. And that's something else that I want to highly encourage you to do. So if you're taking notes right now, this is the next tip, okay? Really not only be consistent and show yourself on that website, make it you and make it match your target audience, your brand, your genre, make it match, okay, what it is that you're selling in the world, that product, whatever it is that you're promoting. But also with your consistency, also be current. Because there were things on my website that I was not updating. Like I did not update my episodes, and it said that I had like 300 podcast episodes on there. And I was like, wait a minute, I've got almost 700 podcast episodes. I don't really need to put numbers like that, or I'm going to have to keep coming in here. Every time I'm making podcasts, I'm going to have to change things. I need to be more current. I need to be general. I need to just put the podcast player in there so people can just click and go to my podcast if they're podcast listeners, if that's what they want. Well, now that I'm a Twitch streamer, guess what I need to do? I've been a Twitch streamer for a week. Absolutely love Twitch. I'm going to be on here, guys, as much as I can. I'm going to try to stay consistent, be on here 3 o'clock every day when I can, 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock on nights when I can, and I don't have a webinar or something going on or another party somewhere. But, I'm really going to try to build that consistency out there. And so I also need to make sure that my stuff is current. Like I had a banner going and scrolling. Okay, I want to show you this banner, what I'm talking about, because I'm a visual person. And okay, so let me go back and share my screen. I pulled up my website. I should have just shared my screen. So I love that my website has this kind of like little banner that I could put up here at the top. Do you see it says pre-order now, Sweet Potato Jones? Guys, when I was critiquing my website, I had my Christmas book up there. And we critiqued the end of May. And I still had my Christmas book up there. It's like, wait, what am I doing? This isn't good. I had that I was an author of 17 books when I was not. I'd actually written 2 more since then. So that let you know that I was not going in and updating. My 20th book is my Sweet Potato book. So, hey, there we go. Here, I still had go check out A Magical Christmas Wedding. Well, it makes more sense if I just say, just go look at my collection on Amazon. And so, guys, if this is what it takes for the person when they land on my website, and it takes them to this Amazon page and they're a reader, they can see all of the different books that I have right here, right? And then if they want the Hartwell Chronicles, which I'm really excited to report is now an ACX, they can come here. I always look at my rankings, 467, Christian Action and Vision. I look at these things like every day. Haven't looked today, I've been busy. But they could go to the Hartwell Chronicles and they could get my paperback here. Or they could, it's going to take them to my landing page. Now, I will tell you that it's right now, Amazon has set it automatically to go to Kindle editions. So, you would have to really click all formats. And then people can scroll down and then they can see my work. If that's it, that's fine. If that's all it took for that landing page to pull them out, that's what that landing page is meant to be. It's meant for people to see that I'm not just here on this landing page. I'm not just here, I'm out. And so it's kind of like a win-win for me, because if they've made it this far, they may look at the blurbs, they might find a book that interests them, and they might say, hey, I might want to follow her. And then you can see there's videos. Look, you see my blog post? I've attached all of this to my Jen Lowry author. I've put my website down here and where you can find me at Jen Lowry Writes, because if you type that in, you're going to find me. So there again, if they find me here on Amazon, I've given them access to me outside of this Amazon page. And so I think that that's important as well, is that you're always promoting and you're always placing your website and linking your website when you can out. So I want to share with you something that I learned from Instagram. Let's see. Okay, so Linktree. So if you look at Linktree, you can build this free site because you might have a lot of places where you want people to find you, right? You can see that they can pre-order sweet potato, they can register for my webinars, they can join the podcast, YouTube, Patreon, here's my books, here's my website, here's my LinkedIn, there's a blog, there's my Pinterest page. Now I need to go and add Twitch. Super easy on Linktree to add, your websites and then your social media sites, and then you can order them the way that you want. And I picked the purple background to match my brand. And so when you're doing things like linking all of your work together, make it easy. Like if you're on Twitter, you can now have a link tree that can pull people out, or you can be on Instagram and have a link tree and you can see multiple places if you have the blog, the website, if you're living on multiple sites. So that's just a suggestion too of how you can go out and link things, and you can have it all on a landing page. And I was like, oh, I love Linktree. Now I can have my website on there, but other places as well for people to be able to engage with my work. And so that's the thing that I want to talk with you about. What's the purpose of your website? What is it? What is it for? For me, mine is a landing page where people can subscribe to be able to receive my newsletter and giveaways, freebies right in their inbox. But my website is also a place for people to get free resources because I have teacher guides that go along with my children's books. I think it's important that my website clearly states at the top, free resources. So my families and homeschoolers and teacher friends, they can click on that and it will take them to that page, and it has the free PDF files that I've created for educator guides. So that's a part of my website that's important to me. And then all of the rest of it is there in case there's another type of reader on there. They just might have read a book and they want to see more about who I am. Or what's the WWJs? And they see that and it could pull them to my Patreon page. Hey, they might listen to podcasts. They see I'm a podcaster. I have a YouTube channel. I've got all that stuff in there. Like I have it all on that website. What is it that you want that website to do for you? And now that I've got that e-commerce site, I'm still praying over that, trying to figure it out. Like, how am I going to build it? What is it that I need to add to these pages? Because it's really it's a lot cleaner than it used to be. I don't want to just be so busy. Or what can I do? How can I set it up? So I hope that this website conversation has been beneficial to you guys. I love it that I'm able to come on here each day, talk about things that are going on in my author life and conversations that I've had with different writer friends, but really just sharing with you guys like my own journey of, I did not get it right the first time. I did not have a website. I didn't. When I first started doing my Bible devotionals and I was out there building my brand with Everyday Mom Challenge, I should have had a website. But I didn't know all of these ins and outs and all of these things. I just had a blog. The blog, not to say that, I'm not regretting that because my blog has grown and it connects me with tons of people. And my blog has, it's there for what purpose? What is the purpose that my blog serves? And so what's the expectation? When people subscribe to you, what are they expecting to get from you? What is your consistent content that you're pulling out? And so from my blog, I write poetry on there. I write writing tips. I share a little bit about parenting in my life kind of things. Then I do book reviews and I share out author friends and promote them. And so when people pretty much, it's mostly about the writing, or it's where I write songs or poetry, and people can get more snapshots of my reading, of my voice. And they know that, hey, there's no telling what Jen's going to have in my inbox this week because I just did Fangs a lot, right? And next I'm doing Ruby Bridges. And so it's for a younger audience. It's not for middle grade. It's like third and fourth grade, second, third, and fourth grade. And so it's still within book reviews. It's still within my clean genres for all ages kind of setup. So the content that I create, people expect that from me. Yet they can trust me or they would not be following my site. They would not, it's not like I'm, my website doesn't give off this air that I'm some entertaining, funny person. Like I don't have the joke of the day popping up there. No, that's not who I am. I'm very serious minded. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love comedians, but no, my website is about the resources that I can give to you and how I can connect you in a writing community and how I do my best to engage with my readers in this authentic way on this website. And so it all comes down to your why. Why do you need a website? Because that's a landing page and a way for you to connect with someone, a stranger out there on the other side. It could be your possible reader. It could be a writing friend that you could build into your community, and they need to be able to find you. And a website is the place to start. And don't wait. Okay? This whole thing where I've got to wait to be published, no. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, I just went through Pit Dark, and I've talked to you guys about pitch wars. You really need to be investigating pitch wars. I'm going to go find that website. I'm going to drop it into the comment because it's going to come up in real time when you guys are watching this with me. If you're not here now live, I'm trying to copy. Okay, so you can do pitch wars, but you can also find other events like pitch wars that are out there. And I did Pit Dark. Pit Dark is the one for horror. And so here I am writing this book. I already completed the first rounds. So you guys know the story. So I got 2 agency hits on it. And so guess what their submission forms were? And they used Query Tracker. And it was like a form letter. It said, how many followers do you have total across all of your social media? It also said, do you have a blog? What's your blog address? Then it said, put your website here. And these were asterisks. Well, those were ones that were required. So I will let you know that you cannot just wait until you sign your big publishing deal or decide you want to self-publish and you hit publish on that day. And then you go, oh, I think it's good to have a website. Don't make those mistakes like I made at the very beginning when I was self-publishing my Bible devotionals. I could have done a lot back then if I would have known. That's what I'm trying to say to you now. Get a website, be out there, share your news. You've got so much to blog about. And somebody contacted me and they were like, I'm having trouble figuring out content because I'm not a published author yet. I really don't know what I would even post anywhere. What do you put? So you know what you put? What I'm working on. It could be a page. What I'm currently working on. Then you could connect it to a blog. And your blog could be a run-in journal, a diary, clips, videos of you talking about your writing process, you being excited about, oh, I got an agent, or oh, I'm self-publishing this on this date. And you're starting to generate excitement about whatever it is around what you're doing, okay? Then you have an About Me page. And you put pictures of yourself up there. You make a video introduction of yourself up there. You can have a very thorough website without having go buy my books on Amazon because you don't have a book out yet. But you could give people snapshots of your author world very quick not a lot of time. Your blog post less than 500 words, quick in and outs, and you can share your journey. Trust me, you can help inspire someone. If you're an artist out there, do you know what I love watching? I don't know if you guys love this like I do, but I love watching people draw on YouTube. Like, it's just so peaceful and so relaxing to me. And so, if you're an illustrator, I say have an illustrator website, not just to show your samples and to build your portfolio, because that is extremely important for an artist to do, is to have a digital portfolio out there in the world. So, you do need a website, you do need a landing page there for your work, but showing some work in progress, showing some tutorials, talking about different mediums, sharing tips on how to find the right watercolor kits for newbies. I mean, there's so many things that you could do. If you could bring value to your people that are out there just waiting for you to share your voice. And so start making a list. You know how I told you guys, future episodes page. I keep this beside me because when I come up with ideas, let's see. Number 1, show how to make a media kit. Number 2, create my top 10 list again. Number 3, imposter syndrome. Number 4, author Google Sheets. Number 5, how has current situations affected my author business? Have I even talked about anything? Because the website thing came up. And I'm like, you know what? I really need to address the website thing. I think it could bring value to you guys if we identify your why, identify, why should you even have one? What do you need to put on it? Where do you need to go to research websites? How do you do it? What do you look for? And then, being consistent. I'm giving you all these tips like right here, not even on the future episodes list. I bet you if you had me sit down and you forced me to have a space of time that was uninterrupted and you said, okay, Jen, can you come up with episodes? Can you come up with a list of topics that writers would appreciate, what you have journeyed through, all your experience? What is the tips? What are some strategies? What are some tutorials? What are some pep talks? What's some positive psychology you could throw in there? What are some researching tips? I love research, connecting, contacting, and having courage. I could do like separate episodes just on each one of those. Guys, I could have a whole month of content and still something new is going to pop up in the author world. And then I've got to tell you about the book that I'm reading right now. And I'm going to go do a book review. And then my friend messaged me from Australia. And she told me that this book that I'm currently reading is a Netflix series. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. I convinced her to go out. She bought the book. I'm like, you got to read it. And then she was like, did you know it was on Netflix? And I'm like, no way. There is no way. The Last Kids on Earth. And I was like, when I was sending her the stuff, I mean, I can do just a whole episode on how to take, the books that you're working on. Oh, she's messaging me right now when I just pulled it up. Look, let's see what she says. But I could just take, and we could do like, let's watch the show, and then we could break it down. And we can look at character development. There's so much we can do. My son was talking about watch parties, how he loves to do watch parties on Twitch with his favorite Twitch streamers. And I was like, we must talk more about this, dear. He was like, well, Mom, you can watch a show. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I could definitely watch this. She's messaging me now. It's almost like she's reading my mind. I'm going to say, are you on Twitch right now? I'm talking about you. Like right now. And this topic. And you're messaging me. Psychic. The Mentalist. So yeah, book 1 is an hour-long show. Then book 2 is 10 episodes of 23 minutes each, and it's animated. Must watch. Wow. Like, see, that's the thing. Every day, our lived experience become content. That's why when you tell me you don't know what you can put on your website or you don't know what you can blog about, I bet if you took some time to reflect upon your experience and do some of those reflecting pieces, I bet you could come up with some really cool content, some really unique content for you. And so that's what I'm going to challenge you to do. Research, look for different models within that product category of where you fall. So if you're an illustrator, look at your favorite illustrators' websites. If you're an artist, look there. If you're a gamer, what do they have as landing pages? If you are an author, what are your favorite authors within the genre? So if your favorite author, is Jane Austen, forget that. But really, go to Stephen King's if you're writing horror and that's your genre that you're writing. It doesn't necessarily just have to be like books you've loved and people that would not have websites. Go to the ones that match yours. See, another topic, another email. Guys, JenLowryWrites@gmail.com. Like, seriously, every day is like a learned new thing that you can write about, that you can blog about and journal and reflect and grow. You can share on a website blog. You can have a landing space. So don't wait. All right, I'm over my hour. You guys stuck around with me. And I'm so glad you joined me here at Jen Lowry Writes. And make sure you follow and subscribe and hit the bell, and you can get notified when I'm going live. I would love it for you to get online the next time I'm around. So I am going to talk about some places where I'm going to be. I'm going to drop this in the chat, and I'm going to be giving some webinars. So for my Twitch people out there, I'm going to be giving the webinars on Twitch. Let me go back to the chat. I'm going to drop it in here because this is where I'm giving my webinars that are the interactive webinars where people can be with me in Zoom and we're chatting and you can ask me direct questions. So you can join one of these webinars that I have up to July 29th. And then I'm cutting off webinars because I'm starting back my job. Summer is here. And so I'm going to be utilizing this time to do some free workshops, but I'm also going to be taking these same workshops and I'm going to be running them live stream on Twitch. So if you can't make these times, just go ahead and subscribe to my Twitch channel. I'm going to go ahead and for my people who are watching on YouTube right now, I'm going to go ahead and say, here is in chat. Let me get back. Here's how you can find me on Twitch because I'm actually going to be running the webinars on my Twitch stream over just for the Twitch and my Patreon people. So I'm going to be dual screen showing. I'm going to be going into my private Facebook Patreon group and Twitch. So those are not going to be on YouTube. So I'm just giving you guys a heads up that you can go over to Twitch and you can follow me there because when I do the webinars, you will get notified for those because those are just going to be separate on that platform. So I've got some webinars coming up. I've got one tonight at 7 o'clock. And it's on engaging with readers and finding your authentic voice because that matters so much to me. And I have so much to share about that. So engaging with readers, being your authentic self in a crowded space. That's the actual title for that. And then we have the WWJ conference that is coming up. You can still go to that Eventbrite. You can sign up. It is a free all-day conference where we can talk about Jesus and writing all day long. And I really, really want you to be there. It's going to be amazing. You get to meet HarperCollins publishing people. best-selling authors, Hallmark Queen Nancy Nagel, my friends, moderators that I love, and you just get to become a part of our WWJ circle for that day. And I just want to welcome you all to this conference. Go get your free tickets. You're going to love it. It's going to be an all-day learning experience. And then Friday, oh my gosh, you guys did this to me. I have scheduled, let me go to my Facebook. See, I'm all over the place. Okay. I have an event. I'm going to give you this link too. You're going to have to click on this link to come to this event, but I like to set up these events with my Facebook group because that way the people that follow me, that Jen Lowry author page, they're actually able to kind of like see that I'm trying my best to get out there, even though last year was a wonderful movement year for me, going out to festivals and being out. Here it is. So I've had 2 responses. Awesome. I have 2 people that are coming to the event. And that just kind of keeps, like, I like creating these events for my people. And so you can follow my Jen Lowry author page and you can see some of how I'm doing events. But we're having a vision board party on Friday for authors. But if you're a creative artist or you're building any kind of author platform or creative content platform, having a vision board for you and your business and just that business principle practice of going down and creating goals, short-term and long-term goals, but also working with your social and emotional health and your personal well-being, that's what we're talking about on Friday night. So you can join me then for that vision board party, and I'll have a template for you that I'm going to give to you, of course, for free. But I'm going to teach you how to make your own vision board so you can specialize it and turn it into your template. Then you can go out and share it with your artist friends and your authors, and you can lead your own vision boards. And so it's kind of like a tutorial and a positive psychology celebration of you and your accomplishments and what you will accomplish the rest of the year. So we're at kind of like a mid-year checkpoint. With it being June, I think it's wonderful for you to step back and really take a good look at the way that you want the rest of 2020 to go. And what better way to do that is with a writing community or with a group of friends. And so join me for that on Friday night at 7. And we're going to be Twitch streaming it and YouTube streaming that party and that tutorial session. So, all right, guys, I hope that I have given you a lot to think about with websites and get you out there researching. Go figure it out. Send me your email once you get your email. Once you get your email done and once you get your website, go ahead and fix it all up. And I'd love for you to send it to me so I can subscribe to your newsletter too. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.